Hi everyone, welcome to another quick episode of Painting Lab. I've had a fantastic week this week. So firstly, we passed the threshold of 200 kits, which I kind of loosely had in my mind as a good target to aim for with our Comparator Mirror booster kits that will allow you to build something a little bit like this. And in the next episode, I'm going to show you how I'm beginning to paint this image from the collection here at the Manor House that I now live and work in. And what's more, if you've managed to get your hands on one of these booster kits, you're going to be able to paint along as well, because thanks to the generous help and support of the Pennington Mella Munter Charity Trust, I'm going to be releasing a high definition source image of this original painting, which is about 400 years old. So as I paint in the next video, you're going to be able to paint along as well. Hopefully that's the general idea once you've got your Comparator Mirror kit built. So to begin with, I just want to address a couple of points that have come up in the mix as people are beginning to build up their Comparator Mirrors, and a particular question from a lady called Jane Wong. So Jane was a little bit concerned that the magnets she'd received with her kit didn't quite fit into the base component. Well, a good way to make them slide in there more easily is to use just a little bit of pencil lead. That lubricates things, and you should be able to push your magnet in there quite quickly, quite easily and simply, although yes, it will require a little bit of persuasion. I suppose research conducted over any period of time leads to threads of ideas which, when pulled, reveal a great raft of information you hadn't even considered before. So one of the things I suppose everyone loosely knows is that psychologists, particularly developmental educational psychologists, are always very, very interested in the drawings and paintings of children. Mostly this is because they are a sort of symptom of that developing sophistication in the child's perceptions. But this week I suddenly remembered what I'd considered to be a minor detail of the theories of a chap called Viktor Lowenfeld. For me, the reason why Lowenfeld's theories are so useful and so important is that he sets up drawing and painting not as a symptom of mental cognitive development, that ability to look at the world, think about it, and then remake it as a form of communication is in fact an inherent part of psychological development. So Lowenfeld established essentially 5 stages of childhood drawing. Of course, you only have to look at a toddler drawing to know that they're not really that interested in drawing anything or in anything more complex than the actual pleasure of moving their hands around and making marks. They're not even looking at the drawing as they're making it quite often. Then if we leapfrog forward a few stages to the age of about 6 or 7, children are beginning to assemble pictures that are readable to other people, and so because of that they're beginning to communicate their perception of the world through drawing, able to share their growing sense of what they think of the world, of how they see it. Then if we leap forward another few stages to around the age of 12 or 13 or 14, what Lowenfeld said, and this coincides with everything I've been doing with the Comparator Mirror really interestingly, is that at about this stage in our early teens, our perception of the world is more or less comparable to the way that adults perceive it, which is fine, exactly as it should be, except that our ability to remake our perceptions by hand becomes more and more problematic. This explains why children at that age are so fascinated and, I might say, so bitterly frustrated by the techniques of realism. Rather than being the sort of hang-up we just need to outgrow, it explains these problems in terms of an essential pattern of growth. And whilst I probably agree with Lowenfeld that good, structured teaching and not having enough time to unravel these techniques does make a significant difference, we've seen over numerous videos on this channel throughout my research that teachers simply do not have the time to teach these sorts of techniques in the traditional way. So this is given me a new perspective on what I'm actually doing with the Comparator Mirror. There is an existing framework established by Lowenfeld here, and the Comparator Mirror, as we've been using it as a learning aid, seems like a direct response, a direct answer to the problem that Lowenfeld identified but couldn't solve.
When you first asked me to come and do this, I thought you were a lunatic. But week by week, I could see how you had broken it down into a manageable learning experience that was so about me transitioning into becoming an artist in my own right. And no one's ever given me that opportunity before.
And what makes the difference? Well, the ability to share the process of painting with a student. So what we're going to try next at Painting Lab is a step further on from that still. I've always known that I couldn't be a guide at the side of everyone using the Comparator Mirror, and now that people are starting to build their own kits, well, I have to figure out a way of making content from here that will nourish you, that will encourage you and keep you feeling on track as you start to draw and paint using this little device. So next time what you're going to see is the beginning of this painting next to me here. It's by Theodore Russell, or Roussel, who was painting just after Van Dyck, one of the great portrait painters of the Golden Age, and he was in fact one of Van Dyck's favourite pupils. If this little experiment of ours actually works, it means that we will be able to explore painting together across the internet, wherever we may be, whatever level of confidence we're working with, in a way that has never been possible before. So if that sounds interesting to you and you haven't already got on board with our Painting Lab project, you can go to paintinglab.com and sign up to our mailing list. You can also subscribe to this channel, of course, and hit the notification bell because we're bringing videos out all the time. But most importantly, if you want to build your own kit, you can just email us at this address and we will post you out the booster kit, which we mentioned in a previous video, also linked below. So until the next video, good luck with your attempts to draw and paint, and perhaps even build your own Comparator Mirror kit using our booster kits, and I'll see you next time.